Today, we call this land the United States of America, but 3,000 years ago, it had no name. There were no states, no borders, only a vast natural world filled with mountains, rivers, forests, and open plains. And it was not empty. People lived here, long before history remembers. Thousands of years before Columbus arrived, the first humans had already stepped onto this continent. The people we now call Native Americans, the original inhabitants of this land. But the real question is, how did the first people get here? Scientists believe that nearly 15 to 20,000 years ago, during the last ice age, Asia and North America were connected by a frozen land bridge called the Bering Land Bridge. Small groups of hunters and gatherers crossed that bridge, moving along riverbanks, searching for food, and slowly, generation after generation, they spread across the entire continent. And these early people would later become the creators of America's very first civilizations. So, now, let's go back 3,000 years and step onto the soil of the civilizations that once lived here. First, we begin at Poverty Point, one of the oldest large settlements in North America, built almost 3,000 years before Columbus. 6 enormous circular earthworks, mounds rising nearly 65 feet high, and stones brought from faraway regions. This wasn't a simple village, it was a planned center, a place that once stood as a hub of life and people. At the same time, far to the south, the Olmec civilization was rising. Massive stone heads weighing over 40 tons, jaguar-like gods, refined art, and early engineering, the culture that would later inspire the great Maya and Aztec worlds. In the northern regions, the Adena people were emerging, builders of sacred earth mounds, some reaching nearly 70 feet high. They honored the land itself and practiced unique burial traditions that still spark curiosity today. Down in the Andes Mountains, the Chavín culture was taking shape, a world of underground temples, echoing chambers, rituals of light and sound, and ceremonies wrapped in mystery. Along the southern coast lived the Paracas people, known for their elongated skull traditions, elaborate burials, and some of the most intricate ancient textiles ever discovered. These were the civilizations that called this land home long before Columbus, long before the idea of the United States even existed. But what was life like for them 3,000 years ago? What kind of homes did they build? What did they wear? What did they grow? What did they worship? Let's step into their everyday world. Today, we see America divided into states: California, Alaska, New York, Texas. But 3,000 years ago, there were no states, no capitals, nothing. This land was one open continent, filled with forests, filled with rivers, and in the middle of it all, indigenous people built their settlements. Their homes were made of wood, grass, and earth. The walls came from tree branches, and the roofs were covered with dried grass. Traces found in ancient excavations show that people lived in families, parents, children, grandparents, all sharing one large home. Family was their greatest strength. At sunrise, men headed toward the forests and rivers, to hunt, to fish, or to work in the fields. Women stayed home, preparing corn and beans, making herbal remedies, and caring for the children. Tools found at old sites show that even children learned early how to shoot arrows, weave simple cloth, and help with small daily tasks. By evening, the entire village gathered around the fire, telling stories and passing down traditions. Today, America's Corn Belt is known all over the world, but few people know that the true story of corn began 3,000 years ago with indigenous people. Archaeologists have found burnt grains of corn, squash, and beans in ancient sites across the Ohio River Valley and in Mexico. These show that indigenous people practiced 3 sisters, go. Along riverbanks, thousands of empty shells from fish, snails, and crabs tell us that rivers and the sea played a major role in their diet. In South America, findings from Chavín and Paracas sites, potatoes, quinoa, and dried sea plants prove that their agriculture and food were highly diverse. Their clothing was made from deer hide, and their jewelry from shells, bones, and beautiful stones. The Paracas culture's 2,500-year-old embroidery, still preserved in museums, shows threads, colors, and patterns so refined that many experts consider it one of the finest ancient textile arts in the world. Many people think that in ancient times, each group lived isolated, but the obsidian, mica, copper, and ocean shells found in excavations prove that trade once reached 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers. For example, the mica found in Ohio comes only from the Appalachian Mountains. The stones found at Poverty Point came from Arkansas and Texas. This proves that thousands of years ago, people were already engaged in long-distance trade. 3,000 years ago, the indigenous peoples of the Americas may have looked simple on the surface, but their spiritual world was extraordinary and mysterious. Their religion wasn't written in books. It was shaped by the earth and the sky above. We don't have ancient written texts, but archaeologists, through burial sites, sculptures, and sacred earth mounds, have understood one clear truth. Indigenous people worshipped nature itself. The burial mounds of the Adena and Hopewell cultures were aligned with the sun and the changing seasons. The Serpent Mound in Ohio matches solar eclipses and the summer and winter solstice. This shows how deeply they were connected to celestial events. In South America, the Chavín people built their temples underground. Dark tunnels, twisting passages, and enigmatic stone carvings found there reveal rituals that used sound and light to create powerful spiritual experiences. It stands today as one of the world's earliest examples of religious architecture. 3,000 years ago, America was not just a land of forests and villages. There was art, there was technology, and there was an organized society. A world whose traces still appear in archaeological discoveries today. When we look at 3,000-year-old American artifacts today, one thing becomes clear. Their art was not simple. It was astonishing. The 40-ton stone sculptures found at Olmec sites in Mexico show the world how advanced their stone carving truly was. The 2,000-year-old textiles created by the Paracas people, with fine threads, multiple colors, and intricate designs, are still considered among the ancient world's finest textiles. 3,000 years ago, they had no iron, no modern tools, yet their technology still amazes scientists. Excavations at Poverty Point revealed stone tools, storage pits, and large geometric earthworks, clear signs that they understood planning and design. The stone structures found inside Chavín's underground temples used sound in controlled ways, showing that they understood early acoustic engineering. Today, we see America with constitutions, laws, and states. But 3,000 years ago, these indigenous societies also had a strong social structure. Every village had a leader, or chief elders, were respected in decision-making. The community worked together in farming, and every age group had a role. Children learned, adults labored, and elders taught wisdom. 3,000 years ago, the land of America was filled with life. Villages, farms, temples, people. But slowly, all of this began to change. And the question arises, how did such large and ancient civilizations suddenly disappear? The answer lies in the soil, the stones, and the archaeological clues they left behind. Today, America experiences sudden weather shifts, droughts, floods, storms. The same happened 3,000 years ago. Layers of soil found in old river valleys show that long periods of drought occurred. When water became scarce, farming declined, food became harder to find, and many settlements slowly began to empty out. Old ground layers reveal that in some places, rivers changed their paths thousands of years ago. When a river shifted, villages, fields, and homes became useless overnight. Just like the Mississippi River still changes its course today, the same happened in their time as well. Over time, many regions lost forests, and animals for hunting became fewer. In older settlements, animal bones suddenly decrease, showing that food shortage was weakening their communities. The most important truth is, these civilizations did not vanish suddenly. People simply moved on to places with better water, better food, and better safety. Many Native American communities today connect their heritage to these ancient civilizations. This means these cultures did not completely disappear. They changed, spread, and continued in new forms. Now it's your turn. Where are you from? Which country or state do you live in? And what civilization existed in your region 3,000 years ago? Share it in the comments.